is where the fun begins.
All right, so next we could talk Kenobi.
Yes.
So I'll let you kick this off because I know you had some
Sure.
feelings about it. So
Yeah, honestly, so I started my channel with Kenobi because I just had to talk about it. And it was kind of like an
yeah,
over the weekend decision where I saw the first episode and I was like, "Oh, I feel like I need to talk about it." So that's the whole reason we're talking right now is because of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which in part is why it's my favorite show so
yeah,
far because it's the one that like brought me out into like the YouTube Star Wars community. But ever since I finished watching Obi-Wan, I always kind of wanted to like talk about it, like debrief, like this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, and I haven't gotten a chance to do that. So I'm like dying to talk about Kenobi.
yes. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, so there's so much about it that I liked, especially episode 5 and 6. I really liked the flashback scene at the Jedi Temple.
Oh
There was
yes.
just something about another,
Oh
like, Attack of the Clones, Anakin, and
yes.
Obi-Wan
Oh,
that I just missed so much. So that was
so
amazing.
beautiful those scenes. Ah, give me
Mhm.
goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it.
I was so confused too because the episode starts with the flashback scene, but it's only like 5 seconds long. And I was like, wait, that's it? That's how long
Yeah,
the flashback scene that we've been waiting for is? But then, they showed
it was
like
sprinkled
more of
in.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they sprinkled it in. So I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah, that made up for that. And then with the finale episode, it was just so like heartbreaking seeing Obi-Wan encounter Darth Vader or Anakin as Darth Vader for the first time.
yeah,
And it reminded me so much of watching Revenge of the Sith, which I was not expecting. I did not go into the finale episode thinking like, oh, there's going to be like so much Revenge of the Sith vibes. So I was
yeah.
very pleasantly like surprised slash heartbroken by that in like the best way. Cause it's like, what a great like throwback to episode 3.
Yeah.
So
No, for sure.
honestly, just because of episode 6 alone, even though there's so much with like Riva's plotline that like I found confusing, like why is she going after Luke? Like there were so many qualms that I had with episode 6, but there was so much like good and like just pure nostalgia that came out of the finale episode that I'm like that
Yeah.
alone is enough to make it my favorite Star Wars show yet.
So for sure, the finale definitely saved it because, like, man, I get teary eyed every time, like, that conversation
Me
that they
too.
had and hearing his voice change between Anakin and that, and seeing his eyes go from yellow back to blue, back to yellow.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Obi-Wan's voice in that
yeah,
whole
he was
scene is so
broken.
heartbreaking. Yeah,
That
it does
that
hit me in the feels.
that saved it, but like the Riva thing is what, like, I don't want to say ruin the show for me, but like if let's just say you took Riva out, the show would have been a lot better because they could have focused on Anakin and Obi-Wan more. And like with Riva, the whole concept of her is kind of dope. Like she survived, Order 66. She got mad at the Jedi. She turned to be an Inquisitor. That's cool in itself, but like nobody survives getting hit by Anakin and Vader with a lightsaber. I'm sorry. And poor Qui-Gon
Yeah.
gets one from Maul and he's done. And this person with no training survives. That
Twice,
right,
because
yeah.
she gets impaled by Anakin in episode
Ag-
5, and then she keeps going on to fight Luke for some reason.
exactly. So that right there bothered me. If she would have
Mm,
died when Vader hit her, like, okay, she sacrificed herself. Great arc. It ended perfect. But now
mhm.
she survived and like Obi-Wan didn't take her out. So now she's running around the galaxy knowing who Luke is. That just grinds my gears.
Yeah.
So I felt like
It just didn't make sense to me why, because there was no reason for Riva to understand the connection. Like, what was the connection between Luke? And she did it not to really get back at Obi-Wan, as I recall. It was like, I
to
don't know,
get
was
back
it
at
to get back
Vader.
at.
Yeah.
How would that have been getting back at Vader? Because she had no idea the connection between Vader and Luke. So that whole thing was very confusing. And especially how she was able to find him, because a lot of people will justify it saying, like, well, she met what's the uncle's name again? I
Owen.
forget. But yeah, she meets Uncle Owen like very early on in the season. And he mentions that he lives out in a farm, like a moisture farm. And so we're supposed to believe that she like remembers this conversation that she had with this moisture farmer that she felt was like far below her.
Yep.
And like it was just so weird. Like we're supposed to believe she remembers that enough to like go and find Luke. Like it was all very, very odd to me. But I loved like the revenge of I love that they brought Christian Haydenson in. I love the like the whole interaction and I still tear up too. Like I felt so silly cuz I had to like edit quite a bit of that part out because I'm like, well, I can't just show the whole like scene like verbatim. I'll get like
Yeah.
copyright strike for showing all of it. So I had to cut a lot of it out. And as I was editing it, watching like my little screen recording, I would like tear up. I'm like, this is so dumb. I'm watching like this tiny screen recording of
Yeah.
the episode, and so I'm tearing up, and then me and like the footage that I took is tearing up. I'm like, this is so dumb, but that's just how emotional it is.
Yeah, and, like, I'm probably gonna get like that in the Ahsoka show if there's stuff with Anakin, like, oh,
Yeah, for
man, and it's gonna
sure.
be all over the internet, I don't care, like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so meaningful, but
Yeah. I'll be
yeah.
more prepared for it though. I wasn't as
Oh,
prepared
yeah.
with like Kenobi. I was prepared for a flashback. I was not prepared for, what they did with the finale episode emotionally. I was like, I didn't know what to do with all those feelings. I was like,
Yeah.
this encounter is so sad because I think they had it like getting ready for like this epic battle, but it didn't really end up being like an epic lightsaber battle. It was just like an emotional thing where Anakin gets exposed and then we like see like his eyes change color and you can hear like Christian Haydenson's voice and like Vader's voice like mixed in. Like it's just
Yeah.
so interesting what they did and I love what they did with that. Here's one thing I didn't
Mhm.
like that the whole like all of the episodes, basically episodes 1 through 4. Well, maybe not 1 through 4 because I think Leia gets kidnapped at the very end of episode 1 or
Yeah.
maybe yeah, I think it was at the end of episode 1, but episodes 2 through 4 or 2 through 5, something like that. Like
Uh-huh.
the bulk of the show, it just kind of feels like the babysitting show. Like it just kind of feels like Obi-Wan like
Y
babysitting
y
Leia and I'm like this feels so like kiddish and why did they
yeah.
do this?
Yeah, she got kidnapped twice, like, really? Like, come on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure, that definitely they could have done away with that. I mean, this
Yeah.
show should have been a home run, but, like, just adding the Riva in to try to introduce a new character, like, they should have did that in another show. The Leia stuff, like you said, for me too, was the music, like, where's the Star Wars music? This is Kenobi. Like,
Yeah.
in the trailer, they used Duel of the Fates. Like, what?
Mm,
And
yeah.
and in that final battle, like, they should have played it. Have you seen any of the edits on YouTube where fans edited in?
No. So
Oh.
I wanted to watch the fan edit and now it's been so long that I'm thinking I'll watch it once Obi-Wan Kenobi hits like its 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, just you'll see there's people that edited in a couple people edited in Duel of the Fates, and then a couple people did Battle of the Heroes. Oh, it makes the fight so much better by, like, a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
And I would have
So,
wanted them to like have changed it up because otherwise I'd feel like they just like spliced,
remix it. Yeah, they could
episode.
remix it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have wanted like a revamped version of it that, fits the tone of the series, but I would have liked to hear those similar themes like you're saying.
Exactly, like in Tales of the Jedi, when Yaddle
Mm,
was fighting, like, that was a new
yeah,
song, but that
it
sounded kinda
was.
just yeah.
Yeah, it had very Revenge of the Sith vibes with like the
Y
choir and everything, so that was cool.
exactly, so they shoulda had stuff like that, so, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna do a second season. I would love it. Well, I would love it if it was about Obi-Wan training with Qui-Gon. I wouldn't love
Mhm.
it if it was like a Riva season, because then it's kinda like you're taking away more Kenobi from me, like, I want as much Human as I could get, I'm very greedy, but
Yeah, me too.
Like, they should have put Riva, like, in Andor. If Riva would have been in Andor running around doing stuff, I would have liked her a lot more, but just Kenobi, it just took too much from Ewan and Hayden, like, yeah.
Yeah, it took way too long for us to get to the flashback. I would have wanted more flashback. I just wanted more callbacks, and I could have done so there were some interactions between young Leia and Obi-Wan that I did actually really appreciate.
Yeah.
Like when she's talking to Leia about her parents. I thought
Oh,
that was really
yeah.
sweet. So that
Yeah.
dialogue I liked. I think they just overdid it with the Obi-Wan young Leia dialogue, and it ended up really like hitting the show down in terms of like, age. Like it felt more like a kid show during
Yeah.
some of those episodes. Like, yeah. And I kind of wish they had gone with and I think the actress that played young Leia did great, but I kind of
She
wish
did.
in order for the show to feel a little bit more mature and not so kiddish, I wish they had gone with an older actress. Like instead
Mhm.
of young Leia being like 10, maybe she could have been like, you know, 15 or, not
Yeah.
quite so young. Because you know what I really would have liked? I would have liked to see young Leia's arc from, being the Princess of Aldron to really being a rebel. And I think we
Yeah.
kind of got hints of that, but I would have really liked to see that like 180 turn.
And maybe that's something they could do in season 2, like, it'd be a little bit later, she's a little bit older, who knows? But yeah, that'd be cool to see her older for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whenever I look back and think back about Kenobi, I literally block everything out, and all I see is the finale and everything with Vader and, Ewan. That's all I see, and those
Yeah.
flashbacks were priceless. What they should have did to really make every episode juicy, they should have started every episode off with one of those flashbacks. That way, it would
Mm,
accumulate over all 6. Because there are a couple
yeah.
episodes where it's like there's no flashbacks, no nothing, so that would
Yeah,
have
and it could have
hyped.
been different people's flashbacks. Like I wouldn't have minded a Reva flashback, like early on,
Yeah,
or a Senator Bale or Ghana flashback. Like they could have traded it off, but yeah, I felt like it was very strange because they pitched it as an Inquisitor's show. But I'm like, you understand, you have Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in this show. Like you can't just have an Inquisitor show with Obi-Wan and Anakin as like side characters. Like there's no possible way.
yeah,
So it just felt very strange the way the focus shifted from the team of Inquisitors to like it just felt very strange. Like, is this the same show? Is this about Kenobi? Is this about Riva? Like it
yeah,
just that was strange to me. So but I'm so happy they did it. Honestly, like it was just amazing to get Ewan McGregor back on screen saying like
yeah.
Obi-Wan lines. Like it just made it all worth it for me, even with all the parts I didn't appreciate.
So I'm glad they made it too, and they got him back because now he's like happy. So
Yeah.
I was at Celebration this year, and he was there, and this year's Celebration was Ewan's, first ever convention ever. Before this, he's never done any of them. So
Oh
he did
wow.
yeah, it was his first convention, his first celebration, and, like, he looked I saw this dude at least 4 or 5 times. I felt like he was my best friend, but you could see the genuine look in his face of happiness and appreciation from all the love that he got. Because one time he was on a stage that was in the exhibit hall, and, like, everybody went nuts. He was on the stage in the main hall at least 2 or 3 different times. Everybody went nuts, and, like, you could see he was, like, kind of overwhelmed with joy because, like, he was getting
Mm,
so much love. Even at the watch party, they did the red carpet there, and he was just so happy and appreciative. And the same with
yeah.
Hayden too. Even though Hayden
Yeah.
does the conventions and stuff, he was
Mhm.
just like so happy and lost for words. So I'm glad that
Yeah,
they
because now they're surrounded by the people that appreciate the prequels.
exactly. So I'm glad they got the recognition that they deserve, and they see that no, we love the prequels, we want more. Like
Mhm.
come, come, come. So
Yes.
it was it,
I want a season 2 of Obi-Wan all about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
yeah, me too. Um,
He did such a good job.
what'd you think about that Qui-Gon at the end though?
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy they ended the whole season with that. It just felt like
Yeah.
a really nice like cherry on top
Yep.
to what I felt was a great like final 2 episodes. But it did like leave us wanting more. Like, I don't know, it would have been nice to
Yes.
have heard his voice more throughout the season.
Yeah. And
So,
I think there were rumors that, like, at one point when he was calling out to, because he called out to Qui-Gon a bunch of times. I think at one
yeah.
point he was supposed to kind of like say something and kind of like hype him up before that fight with Vader to like motivate him, but maybe they cut it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was very, very like silent. I think maybe they just didn't want to dilute like the Obi-Wan Anakin-ness of it by like, introducing like Qui-Gon into the like Qui-Gon's dialogue. I think they wanted it just be purely Obi-Wan's dialogue and Anakin's dialogue. But I'm definitely glad they included him, and
Yeah,
I feel like um dang it, I know his name literally all the time, and then right now I can't think of it.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, and he seems really happy to be back as Qui-Gon as well, which is nice.
Yeah, he even was the voice in Tales too.
Yeah, well, I feel like Force Qui-Gon has so much knowledge to give us because Qui-Gon is the one that teaches Yoda like how to become a Force ghost and
Yep.
at least a visible Force ghost. I'm not really sure, but he's even so much more advanced than Yoda even that I feel like we haven't gotten enough of Qui-Gon after he's defeated by Maul. So I'd love another season of Kenobi.